Salutations, residents of cyberspace. Your old friend, Bitstream Cowboy here, transmitting out of my network node, from the edge of Hollywood, in sunny Southern California. I'd like to welcome you to my channel, where I present information on video gaming, trending topics, and personal insights. I'm trying to grow my channel big enough to qualify for a custom URL on YouTube. That means I need to have 100 subscribers. If there is anything you enjoy in this video, please help out by subscribing to this channel, and hitting the like button. I'll be publishing around 2 videos per week, to start, and we'll see where this goes. I've opened the comments section below, and I humbly ask for all of your remarks, suggestions, and any gripes. I will respond. Thank you, my friends. Now, on to today's topic.
Deep into darkness. There will be no more stories after this one.
Today's presentation is a retrospective on the 2017 release, Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. Released for Microsoft Windows 10 and the PlayStation 4, in August, it garnered critical acclaim for independent British game developer and publisher, Ninja Theory. After the expiration of the timed exclusive rights for the PlayStation 4, Hellblade was released for the Xbox One family of consoles in April 2018, along with exclusive enhancement for the high-horsepowered Xbox One X. This opening scene shows Senua, brilliantly portrayed by Melina Juergens, a picked warrior from 18th century Orkney, rowing up the river to Helheim, starting her quest to save the soul of her dead lover, Dillion, from the clutches of the Norse goddess Hela. In the background, you are introduced to Senua's furies, some of the voices of her psychotic mind, which she believed since childhood, was a curse. One of the missions of the 20-member design team, Ninja Theory, led by director, Tami Montoniades, was for the game to act as a metaphor for Senua's struggle with psychosis. The developers worked closely with neuroscientists, mental health experts and individuals suffering from psychosis, to create an exemplary portrait of mental illness. Along with the furies, Senua's constant voices commenting in her head, she is also followed by the darkness, a dark entity at the core of her curse, and is also guided by her memories of Druth, a former slave of the Norsemen, based on a real Irish Celt from the 8th century, named Finden, who was enslaved by the Vikings. The 6-hour campaign has no introduction, HUD, nor tutorial. It is intentionally vague, and the various auditory and visual hallucinations surrounding Senua's actions are often deceptive and cynical, not giving players reliable clues, unsettling them. The developers collaborated closely with professors in the field of mental illness, and sufferers of hallucinations, depicting their delusional visions, in the game. When working with experts, the developers realized that, quote, quite often, the illness comes not from the symptoms, but from the stigma, isolation, and mistreatment that comes from the rest of society. End quote. In June 2017, Ninja Theory gave a preview of their nearly completed game to some of the patients they had collaborated with, to confirm if their final result had, quote, reflected their views or if it had misrepresented them, end quote. Professor Paul Fletcher, a neuroscientist and psychosis expert, who assisted the developers on the title, commented, quote, it has been refreshing to see a representation of psychosis in which the person isn't just a sort of passive receptacle for madness. Senua is the hero of her own story, trying to make sense of her experiences and work her way through them. That's incredibly destigmatizing. In representations of mental illness on screen, you usually have the mental illness first, and then a two-dimensional character attached to that. In this case, the character is fully formed, and they are not defined by their own condition, end quote. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, engages players with 2 types of gaming mechanics. The first allows Senua to walk around with the freedom to interact within her environment, through quote, focus, end quote, to solve puzzle challenges, for further progression. The second mechanic is real-time, sword fencing combat, against ever-increasing stages of stylized representations of Norsemen enemies and bosses. She has the choice of light and heavy attacks, with kicks, parries and dodges to confound her foes. If Senua suffers a strong hit, or a flurry of hits in a row, she can be knocked down, requiring the player to quickly and repeatedly press a button, and recover before she receives a fatal blow. The closer she is to death, the harder for her to recover. A core mechanic of the combat system is permadeath, which deletes the player's saved data, after a limited amount of lives. Ninja Theory received many accolades for developing Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. IGN gave Hellblade a 9 out of 10, along with Videogamer.com. EGM gave it an 8.5 while GameSpot and Game Informer both gave it an 8. Metacritic gave the PC version an 83, an 81 for the PS4, while the Xbox One version received a top score of 88. The game was only released in digital form, but by June 2018, the title sold over 1 million copies across 3 platforms. It won 2017's Best Action and Adventure Game Award by the Independent Game Developers Association. It won Best Audio Design, Best Performance, and Games for Impact at the Game Awards 2017. Also, Best Writing in a Video Game by the Writers Guild of Great Britain, Great White Way Award for Best Acting in a Game in the New York Game Awards, Outstanding Achievement in Character at the DICE Awards, plus many other coveted industry trophies. Team director, Tami Montoniades stated the game sold, quote, better than expected, end quote, and the title broke even in 3 months, well ahead of the 6 to 9 months the developers had expected. The director of this hit commented, quote, it is easy to see the pain and suffering caused by physical diseases or physical trauma. It is not easy to see the mental suffering or trauma of severe mental illness. But what if we could find a way to see? Games are capable of drawing you in for hours on end, experiencing their perspective, and actively involving you in a different set of rules, end quote. Additionally, quote, to complete Senua's quest, you have to internalize and accept the logic and meaning behind these things to progress, end quote. His opinion was that using the tendency of certain psychotics to see the patterns others would not see or notice, as a game mechanic to solve puzzles, would provide a unique angle impossible in mediums other than video games. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, by Ninja Theory, holds a unique position in video gaming history. During E3 2018, Phil Spencer of Microsoft announced the agreement to acquire Ninja Theory, along with 4 other studios to expand Microsoft Studios, and engage them as developers of exclusive games for their Xbox's dedicated fan base. As an epilogue for this presentation, I'd like to include my experience as a lifelong victim of schizophrenia and mental illness. Though it manifested when I was 19, reflecting back to my earliest memories, I've always had auditory and visual hallucinations. During the loneliness of being an only child under constant relocation, as a military dependent, I sheltered my emotions with imaginary friends and visualized lives separate from my isolated existence. I adopted several different personalities, which were bolder and more capable, during situations of duress, that would see me through the darkness. In my late teens, people began commenting that my facial expressions, voice, and body language would transform into different characters that seemed independent of my general consciousness. I was often told that I said or did things that were completely out of my character, and for the life of me, I was mostly unable to recall these moments to my conscious mind. And, since early childhood, I recalled having nightmares, with my eyes wide open. I remember trying to physically run away, many times, from crushing visions and delusional states, during the stresses of having to constantly leave behind all the things that I loved. I was a schizophrenic before my psychotic episode, which saw me hospitalized at the age of 19. This fact, though, required nearly a lifetime of treatment to realize. Only in the past 7 of my 57 years, in this life, have I gained the lucidity to experience the quality of freedom, while living with mental illness. It came from completely coming to grips that I have suffered from a lifelong illness, and truly working with my medical team, to become educated about schizophrenia. I live a very independent life, with many great accomplishments in software publications, a professional music career, martial arts, and in the clergy. Throughout my illness, I've pushed through the levels of my knowledge and creativity, always asking myself, can I go further? Can I reach another level? Each new piece of information I have gathered has led me to more profound heights of awareness. I am never content to stay on the same platform for very long. I am very eager, and can labor for days, without sleeping, or eating, should I have to, when accomplishing a goal. When I am on a quest, I am tenacious and relentless. I arm myself with all the facts I can, behind the subject when going on a mission. I seek out experts, read books, and constantly query search engines to empower myself, very methodically. Once I reach a point of view, I compare my opinions with opposing opinions to study the opposing view to see what I am missing from the big picture. In this way, I remain impartial and unattached to even my conclusions, ready to roll with the next punch life gives me. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice was a vivid portrayal of schizophrenia, that is quite accurate. And I, as a lifetime victim of psychosis, can attest to this. The fleeting and haunting voices, the presence of an inner guide and confusing visions which causes terror, all, masterly displayed in this game, are really real. Ninja Theory captured mental illness in their craft, most excellently. I almost cried when I realized Senua was actually like me. That's it for today's retrospective. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, Ninja Theory's take on psychosis, and my opinion as a lifelong survivor of schizophrenia.
Another voice joins us. She once tried to make them go away. Pretend they weren't real. What is that?
It was a true honor to create this presentation for your viewing and listening pleasure. It is my honest desire to bring something new to the table, a production that stimulates the viewer, while educating them with my experiences from 52 active years of spiritual cultivation, crafting, acting, music compositions and performance. Before we part today, I'd like to beg once more for your compassion and request that you hit the subscribe link, and join me for future productions, upon release, by hitting the bell icon to stay up to date. Your opinions, both good and bad, are of priceless value to me, thus I humbly request that you share your minds in the comment section, where I will respond. I'm dying to meet you and hear your wondrous stories. If anything in this presentation caught your attention or possibly moved you, please like and share with your friends. Thank you for spending your valuable time watching my humble production. This video has been transmitted from my network node, on the edge of Hollywood in sunny Southern California. I'll be back with another vidlog in just a few short days. See you again, my friends, and in between, I will be praying that you are at peace, blissful and in perfect harmony with the cosmic consciousness. Thank you for being my friend. Remember, we are one. God's love. Bitstream Cowboy, jacking out.
This has been a Bitstream Cowboy production. Copyright 2018.